Hello, I'm Sylvia, co-host of Queens of the Reads book club, and I'm excited to announce that we're officially 1 month away from the premiere of Percy Jackson and the Olympians on Disney+. Join myself and fellow book club members as we talk all things Percy Jackson, in honor of the show, Rick Riordan's latest Percy Jackson book, and blue food, because who doesn't love blue food? Thank you.
Hi, I'm Emily, one of the co-hosts for Queens of the Reads, and our book club was able to go to the Chalice of the Gods tour. It was so exciting, and I can't wait to talk about it. One of my favorite moments from this tour was actually getting to hear that not only are we getting more Percy Jackson, also getting some more information on the TV show and getting to hear so many great authors that are coming to the imprint, especially in the next year or so, just made me so much more excited, not just for this book, but for all the other books that are coming out very soon, especially the new Medusa retelling one, because that one really caught my attention, so I'm hoping to get that one soon. Now, since we were talking about the TV show during the tour, I have to say that I am super excited for that. I can't wait to see the book adapted into 8 episodes. I'm just so excited. And it feels like it's so far away, but it's really not. We're already in October, and then by the time we know it, it'll be December, and then they'll be dropping the first 2 or 3 episodes, and I'm really excited. I'm excited to see Percy and Annabeth and Grover and see their first journey together. I'm excited to see Percy and his mother and their dynamic. So just all of the character dynamics, I am here for it. As for the book, I'm excited to see Percy, Annabeth, and Grover again. I have missed them, and I need to go back and finish Heroes of Olympus and then work my way to this one, but I am so excited to hopefully finally catch up very soon so that I can just read all about it and then be prepared for the next 2 books in the series. Since we're talking about favorite plots and moments, I have to say that my favorite book out of this series has to be The Last Olympian. Honestly, this book is my favorite out of the first 5. The characters were phenomenal. The plot was phenomenal. There was so much going on, and I was just getting ready for that big finale. I needed to see how everything ended. I remember this book made me cry. And yet my favorite scene in this whole book, in the whole series of the first 5 books, has to be the very last scene in this book where we have Percy and Annabeth just kind of talking, and then we get that iconic scene of them kissing under the lake, and it was just so beautiful. It didn't tie everything up neatly. It left it kind of with an open window so that we could always return to these characters. So I really, really, really love this book. Funny enough, the first time I actually read Percy Jackson, I was actually in college. I was either a sophomore or junior, but I just remember picking up the books. I can't remember if we were talking about it in a class or I heard it somewhere, but something about it drew me in, and I was like, I feel like it's time to read it. So I got the first 3 books, actually, and then I flew through them, had to get the next 2 books so that I could finish the first 5, the arc of the first 5, and I just remember flying through them and really, really enjoying them. I read those myself, and then I want to say the year after I finished, Sylvia and I were talking about the next book we were going to read after Narnia, and we decided to do the Percy Jackson series. So I got to relive all 5 books again with my friends, and it was just such a fun time. One of my favorite memories from that is actually we had this movie night / party where we were watching the movies, just kind of talking about the books, and we had all of these nice blue foods, and it was just so much fun, and it's one of my favorite memories ever. So we recently took the Godly Parent quiz that's on the website, and I have to say that I got Aphrodite as my godly parent, and honestly, I like it. I think last time that I took a quiz similar to this, I also got Aphrodite, so it was so weird getting her again this time around, but it makes sense. Honestly, if I had her as a godly parent, I would not mind it.
Hi, my name is Bianca, and I just want to tell you a little bit about the Percy Jackson event that I attended with the book club Queens of the Reeds. So, let me grab my little book here. So this is the book we picked up at the event, and it is beautiful. Just look at that, amazing, so pretty. Obviously it was super cool getting to hear the author speak and getting a signed book. My favorite part of the event was seeing everybody in cosplay. It was really cool to see people dressed up as Grover with their horns and their hooves. It was really great to see people dressed up in the Greek and mythological attire, so that was really, really cool. I also really appreciated the conversation that Rick Riordan had with another author. So Rick Riordan had a conversation with author Yu-Ha Lee and kind of talked about other series that have the, I guess, stamp of approval, or Rick Riordan presents, like, I guess, verified by, adjacent to, similar. But it was really interesting to see how this concept of coming up with modern stories around mythologies and using different cultures' mythologies and going into other mythologies and having other series that if you enjoyed Percy Jackson, you would also enjoy these as well, be highlighted as well. So that was really cool. Got some other books, so it was very, very cool. The other aspect that I noticed and really just enjoyed, that was so cool about the event, was people from all across the different age groups and ranges came to this event. Like, there were children in the parking lot running to the auditorium to get in and get a good seat and see Rick Riordan. There were like adolescents, teenagers, adults, and even like older adults that were at the event that were fans themselves. People had really cool shirts, like the Camp Half-Blood shirts. So now I obviously need to go find those and look those up on Etsy. So that's a thing for my wallet. But it was just really cool to see a story or something that really people of all ages could rally around and appreciate, and I thought that was cool. The other thing I really enjoyed about going to this book event with the Queens of the Reeds was I got to enjoy my time with my book friends and meet some new book friends, so that was really cool. Big shout out to Blue Willow Bookshop in Houston, Texas, that ran the event, set up the event. We get to go to and enjoy, experience really cool book events like this thanks to Blue Willow Bookshop. My favorite memory of Percy Jackson is, well, I have a confession to make. So a lot of people, when they talk about the Percy Jackson books, they'll talk about their favorite memory, like, oh, I was in elementary or middle school and I read Percy Jackson when XYZ was happening, or I met a friend that also really enjoyed Percy Jackson. And my confession is I actually did not read the Percy Jackson series. I just didn't. I don't know why or how I escaped the Percy Jackson train, but I did, and they didn't like shape me or, you know, influence how I grew into an adult, which would have been really cool. But the cool thing about not having done that is actually I, as an adult, have been able to go back and read all these books. I got these books, this version of this series, and have actually been reading Percy Jackson and experiencing Percy Jackson for the first time. I'm actually on this book right now, The Battle of the Labyrinth, and I really enjoy these actually. I thought, oh, I'm gonna get through them super fast because They're for a younger audience and they're super easy to read, and the plot's going to be super predictable, but I actually quite enjoy these, and they have a really good pace to them. They're really making me rethink the mythology and the stories and things that I learned when I was probably around middle school, and kind of go back and revisit that. So it's funny, it's exciting, it pulls on your heartstrings. There are also some really good quotes in there, so I've been enjoying basically experiencing that for the first time as an adult. Speaking of favorite quotes though, I have, as I've been reading and what I've got to so far yet, I have a couple of favorite quotes, but I think there is one that is kind of up there because I just find it really interesting. So my favorite quote comes from The Lightning Thief. It's this one. It reads, "Come now, Percy, what you call Western civilization, do you think it's just an abstract concept? No, it's a living force, a collective consciousness that has burned bright for thousands of years." And I know the story follows the gods, and the locations of things change as the world changes and things shift. I thought it was freaking hilarious to put like the entrance to the underworld in Los Angeles. I just thought that was hilarious. But in all reality, this quote is really interesting, and I think just such a good quote because human civilization is its own living force, and we are all organisms part of this force, and we make up this force, whether that be our contributions good or bad or what have you there. So just a really interesting quote, something cool to think about. My favorite moments from the series, like plot points, I think would have to be, so far what I've read, reading, is meeting the hunters. So who doesn't appreciate and love just a group of all badass women that kick ass, are really great with a bow and arrow. I mean, I did come from the Katniss Everdeen era, so badass women with bow and arrow, I mean, that's great. I love how they have a good sisterhood, and you know, they pledge their life to a commitment to being together and having this commitment, and they forego any relationship or forego committing themselves to a man instead. And isn't that awesome? Like that sounds great. I also thought, as a plot point or part of the story that was really cool, was the fact that when they like drink the ambrosia or the nectar when they need to heal, that the substance tastes like whatever is their comfort food. So I thought that was really cool that the taste would be different for every single person, and that kind of gets you thinking, oh, what would my comfort food, what would mine taste like? So I just thought that was an interesting aspect. My godly parents, I found out from many quizzes, my godly parent is actually Poseidon. So I guess I'm related to Percy Jackson. I was kind of actually surprised at that one because I am not a swimmer. Always hated swimming, never really liked the pool or the beach or anything, for the water at least. I do like being around the water, and I enjoy like the calmness of the water. I really respect the power of the water and nature, and I really love animals and marine life, so maybe it's not such a big surprise. What I'm looking forward to in the TV show is really just meeting the new cast. It sounds like they're gonna do an amazing job with the new series. I am always a sucker for seeing how shows or movies recreate like mythological or fantastic just animals that don't come from reality. I love animals. I'm just really excited to see how they're going to create those and represent those animals. So I think that's going to be really cool. I actually haven't seen the old I don't know if it was a series or movie, but I know Logan Lerman was really popular for being Percy Jackson. So I know I didn't read Percy Jackson, didn't know about Percy Jackson, so, and I didn't watch the old movies or shows, so I'm like way behind. But I am gonna watch that, catch up, and I'm hoping that Logan Lerman will make an appearance, that there will be kind of like a callback or some sort of link there. I just think it would be cool for the series to have its own like Spider-Man moment. And then lastly, been thinking about my favorite blue foods. If I really think of blue foods, blue foods make me just think of candy, and what better blue candy is there than the blue raspberry Jolly Ranchers? I mean, Jolly Ranchers were like crack for kids. Like when you were a kid, Jolly Rancher was crack, but it was the best. And you always picked out the blue ones because they were the best, and you just ate those before anyone else could. So yeah, I think that's got to be my favorite blue food. If I'm being realistic, I do drink a lot of Gatorade, like more Gatorade than any normal person should. I actually have one here now. I drink regular brand, off brand, whatever. I try to make sure it's zero, but for whatever reason, I only like the blue color flavors. So I stay hydrated. I like the blue color flavors, and I always, I guess, do I have a blue tongue? No, I don't have a blue tongue, but always drinking this, so we'll have a blue tongue. But yeah, I'm hoping to make some blue chocolate chip cookies for maybe a watch party or watch event, something that we'll do as a book club when the series comes out or is coming to an end. Big shout out, really big shout out and thank you to Sylvia and Emily who run Queens of the Reads, our book club, because without them, life would just not be as fun and as bookish. Really appreciate them so much for all the hard work they do for our book club. I personally would never attend book events or be part of a book community the way I am now without Queens of the Reads. So big thank you and shout out to them. If you are interested in joining Queens of the Reads, please do reach out. It's such an awesome book club and community in and around Houston. And even if you aren't in the area, the Houston area, there's lots of virtual events and virtual book club meetings that we do. So yeah, now I have some really cool book friends all over the place, all over the US and the world. So yeah, thank you. Hope everyone has a great weekend, holiday, or end of your day wherever you are, and hope everyone has a good time exploring and experiencing Percy Jackson again. Thanks.
Hi everyone, my name is Miranda. Thank y'all so much for having me. I'm very excited to be a part of Queens of the Reads, and I brought notes because it's my first one and I don't want to forget anything major. But I had so much fun at the Percy Jackson Rick Riordan event at Pasadena High, and I'm gonna share my experience with you. So my favorite moment from the Percy event was the closeness of Rick Riordan, because I've been to events like this before where the person that's speaking is so far away and you just feel like an audience member or a spectator, and then there's this like magnificent fancy author like miles and miles away from you, and there was just this complete sense of closeness and oneness with the speaker. Like he was just some normal dude hanging out with us, you know, telling us about his amazing books and his cool life. And I thought that that was so great that I just felt so close to the author. It was just, I don't know how to explain it. It was magical. And I also really enjoyed meeting new people and making new friends. So that was fun too. My favorite reading memory with Percy Jackson is more of a vibe. They came out when I was in high school and I didn't have a car yet. And so as they would come out, I'd get really excited, and my mom would drive me to the bookstore to get the next one, and there would just be this sense of magic and anticipation, and I just couldn't wait to read the next book and to just dream about what would happen next. And so when I read Percy Jackson or I think about it, it really takes me back to being a kid and being a teenager, and the excitement of connecting to a story and a character and just wondering where the world will take you. My favorite moment from the series, it's been so long since I've read it, I'm ancient now, but I love the quote, and you always hear about it when people talk about Percy. It's, if my life is going to mean anything, I have to live it myself. And when you read that when you're 15, you don't really think anything of it. But when you're an old lady now, like me, it really means a lot, especially being a single lady. I feel that people are often trying to cast aspersions on what they think your life should be and the decisions that you should make, whether it's family or your boyfriend or anything of that nature. And that's really inspiring, to live your life the way you want to live it, without letting other people influence you in a negative way, or a way that doesn't suit where you want to go with your life. For my godly parent, I got Aphrodite, and I took notes on this one because she influences others' emotions and words through charm speak. She controls or has control over love, desire, and the ability to change her physical features. I think that would be so cool, because I've been growing my hair out for for 6 years, it feels like. And to have the ability to just snap my fingers and make it grow, or have different eyes, or just influence those around you in a positive way, because I wouldn't be bad about it, would be absolutely amazing. My favorite god is Hades, and I think Persephone is really cool, and I like their story, but I don't align with them personality-wise. So Aphrodite is my girl. What I'm most excited for is I never really connected with the first movie. It was great, but it just didn't really mean anything to me. And so I'm most looking forward to the new TV show and having the opportunity to fall in love with Percy again on the big screen, or in my case, the very small screen, in my bedroom, and become immersed in his world and his magic, and just lose myself in a story that I began to know as a young person. And it really got me into Greek stuff. We always learned about it in school, and I just wasn't into it at all, but I don't know, Percy made it more applicable to everyday life, and I thought he was rad. And I almost forgot. My favorite blue food. My favorite blue food has to be blue Doritos. I love blue Doritos. We've always called them at my house the blue Doritos. They're not the Cool Ranch. There's blue and there's red, and I've always preferred blue, and they have those little magical blue dots on them, and I guess that's the Cool Ranch flavor. I don't know, but those are fire. I also like the blue Sour Patch Kids. Those are really good. So I'd like to do a quick shout out to Queens of the Reads, and thank y'all so much for having me. I had so much fun at the event, and I can't wait to do another one of these. So, oh, and here's my cool shirt. Yeah. Bye.
Hi guys, Sylvia again. So as you've heard from everyone else, we attended Rick Riordan's book tour for Percy Jackson and the Olympians, the Chalice of the Gods. This is the first time that Percy's been back in like forever, 10 years or so. I'm totally bad with math. I'm wearing the shirt that we got for the tour. It's incredible. I actually attended a tour for the Trials of Apollo, and he also gave us a t-shirt, and it was awesome, and I wear it all the time. And the best part is I can wear it to work because I work in a library, and this is appropriate attire for work. The back has the tour name, the date, you know, it's like a very concert tour t-shirt, but book tour because it's just as cool. My favorite moment from this tour particularly was just watching the Percy Jackson and the Olympians trailer on a big screen. I mean, obviously I watched it when it dropped on YouTube and I was screaming and losing my mind, but being in a room surrounded by people who adore this series as much as I do, who all have different experiences and came to it younger in life, older in life. Just being in a room with people who love the thing that you love and getting to experience something like that, even if you've already seen the trailer, it's just literal goosebumps. And then being in the same room as Rick Riordan while you're watching it and watching his facial expressions from afar, you know, I'm a little blind and I was in the audience and I tried to have my little glasses, but just kind of seeing how he was responding to it and knowing how much influence and involvement he and his wife had with bringing the series to life and making sure that everything stayed true to the feeling of the books and the casting, and he was involved in everything beginning to end. So I'm just excited. I'm losing my mind. I will actually be away on holiday when the show starts airing. I won't really be able to watch it, but when I come back, I am going to binge the entire series, and I've invited the girls over to my place for a special little Percy Jackson party, which if there's anything that I do best, it's hosting themed events. I work at a library and I host adult movie nights, not those kind of adult movie nights, but I like decorating the place to look theme, the aesthetic of the movie that we're watching. And I've done Percy Jackson parties before, and I'm really excited to be able to host another one. Might have a little mini video for you guys just to update you on all the feels of the show. So my favorite memory reading Percy Jackson is, I had always wanted to read Percy Jackson and I had never gotten around to it, so I read it as an adult. My friend Salvador, this was his favorite series growing up. Emily had read the books and she also really loved the series, and my little sister Natalia was starting to get into the books, and I saw her reading it and I was like, hey, I've been talking to these two people about reading the book, let's read them together. So that was kind of like the creation of our book club. Emily and I had, I'm sure she mentioned, like, we had buddy read together the Chronicles of Narnia, but this was our first book club. This was our first people and managing them, you know, and it was absolutely wonderful. 4 nerds going to different restaurants, and we also picked like Mediterranean restaurants, and we would do the whole little like give a little food for the gods, you know, right before you start your meal. And that's my favorite memory. It's not so much what happens in the book, but how the books brought us together. And it's the best part about hosting a book club is, no matter how good or bad a book is, just the discussions, the food, the people, it's always a lot of fun. But Percy Jackson is a series that there's no bad. I'm trying to think of like my favorite moments in the series. Like, there's just so many good scenes. Like, I really love the whole Ares and Aphrodite little scandalous romance, and like, the little trap that is placed to kind of catch him. I also loved the locations. It was incredibly fascinating to think, like, yes, of course, like, it was ancient Greece, but now like power kind of shifts to the United States, so they find locations in the United States to match that. And I'm like, I have to go to all of these places myself, and I've always wanted to go to New York, so that's definitely on my bucket list. Oh, one of the coolest scenes too is the hotel. You know, you're just in there and you forget how long you've been in there. I'm like, oh lordy, I would hate being in there if I realized, like, if I was conscious of the fact that I'm trapped, because I'm super claustrophobic. But it sounds like such a vibe. And I do believe that that comes around later on too, right? In future books, with everyone's favorite Nico. I'm just excited because it's been such a long time waiting for more Percy Jackson, and the fact that there's another him, and it's such a unique concept too, like college, you know. And how do you don't just go to a normal college, you go to a college for the demigods. And how do you get in? Letters of recommendation from the gods, but it's not that easy. Like, it's just an incredible concept, like bringing the modern world with like ancient Greek and just merging it together. It's absolutely brilliant, and I'm incredibly excited just to read the book, to watch the series. It's just I'm definitely looking forward to all of that. Probably what I'm looking forward to seeing in the show the most is just getting to watch it again. Honestly, like, there isn't a particular scene that I'm like, I can't wait to watch. I just love the fact that it's a TV show, so we get more episodes and more time to fully dive into this world, and I'm excited for it to continue and expand, because I wanted more. I want to see all of it, you know, and so I'm really excited that we're gonna get all of it. We're gonna get every single book. Fingers crossed. I'm so excited. Obviously, the last 2 questions. My favorite blue food. planning a Percy Jackson party was wild because I was like, how many things are naturally blue? So obviously we had blueberries. Blue tortilla chips was like the best. I was like, oh my god, is it actually blue? It gives a little bit of a purple violet hue, but they were so good. Like, I was digging in there. And we kind of cheated and did a lot of things like Cool Ranch Doritos because the packaging is blue. Perfectly enough, we did it over the summer. So M&M's had the red, white, and blue M&M's for 4th of July, and I just picked out the blue ones, and there was a lot of blue candy that I was able to pick from other places. But there's not a lot of like natural blue food, at least I couldn't think of any. So I don't have like a, this is my favorite blue food. Blue tortilla chips is probably the one thing that it's like, it's blue. Blueberries are great, but I did have fun experimenting with like trying to find different candies. And you know those sugar frosted cookies, the ones that are so bad for you and they're so good? Those were fun, and we also got blue ones. I liked the idea of like the blue drinks and stuff. So I have a lot of blue foods that I like that are not real foods, they're all candies. I will say I love Mediterranean food, and it's my absolute favorite food dish. So I loved throwing that into anything Percy Jackson related. Okay, my final thing is my godly parents. I took the quiz and I got Athena. Obviously, I work at a library. I was a student for the majority of my life. I loved learning. Leaving school was one of the hardest things that I ever did. It, like, my whole identity was being a student and was learning, and I didn't know who I was without it. But then I started working at a library, and I get to learn and I get to provide knowledge to other people. I teach like ESL classes and citizenship classes, and it's just wonderful. I'm definitely an Athena through and through. Like, I'm a huge nerd, and honestly everywhere, like, and for Harry Potter I'm a Ravenclaw. When Divergent was, you know, huge, I was erudite. And just know, like, there are so many words and so many things that I know that I've read in books and I understand the meaning, but because I'm a first generation, sometimes there's words that I never heard that I don't know how to pronounce correctly. So I do apologize for those, but you know, I love learning and I love finding out new things. And so Athena's the perfect godly parent. And every test that I've taken has given me Athena, but this quiz that we took, that we found on Rick Riordan, it's like, describe what kind of employee you are and we'll tell you who your godparent is. And it gave me Poseidon, which I was like, huh? But none of the responses felt like me. Like, I was just like, I guess I'll go with this one. Like, what's your excuse to not go to work? I'm like, what do you mean? I'm always at work. I work on my days off. I stay longer. I come in early. This isn't me. So none of those questions, like the answers that the responses that I was giving you for the quiz really matched who I am and my vibe. So I was just kind of like, I picked the closest, and I got Poseidon. I don't like Poseidon. I have some beef there, you know. I have some beef with that particular quiz because it was not channeling who I am. But like Bianca said, I guess I'm related to Percy Jackson. I mean, technically you'd be related to Percy Jackson regardless of the god, right? But yes, I've been Athena in most of the other quizzes that I've taken Percy Jackson related. Unfortunately, I wasn't Athena in this one. If you take the quiz and get Athena, tell me how you did it, because I didn't want to think too much about it, right? I didn't want to be meticulous and be like, let me purposely pick this answer. I wanted to be who I am and pick the vibes. That being said, I probably could read the quiz and be like, this is how you get Athena, but I don't know, it wasn't me, because I do not miss work. I am at work right now. I'm on my break, don't worry. But anyways, thank you so much for joining Queens of the Reads in this very long video blog about our experience with the Percy Jackson and the Olympians, the Chalice of the Gods book tour. We look forward to watching together on Disney Plus the new Percy Jackson and the Olympians series. We hope that you will tune in as well if you participated in any of the Rick Riordan book tours, be it this one or any other book in the past. Let us know in the comments. Let us know what your experience was reading Percy Jackson. When did you read it? What did you think about it? And when the show comes out, definitely drop your review. Anyways, thank you so much, you guys. See you next time.
Perseus. That's me.